Hey everybody, welcome to your practice. We're going to do a movement session today. A little bit of yoga, some mobility, some fascia work to feel connected to our bodies, to feel integrated and just ready for our day. This could be great as a morning practice, could be great as a pre-workout kind of warm-up, or I like to do this type of movement on an active recovery day, just in the afternoon, enjoying a beverage, moving my body. So fit it into your life as makes sense for you. And then set up your space. You can do this on a yoga mat, you can do this in the grass outside, whatever. If you want to play some music or light a candle, anything to bring your senses into the present moment, your body, your mind, your spirit here and now. And we're going to get started in a cobra, laying down on your belly. If this doesn't feel right, you can always take a child's pose instead. So if you're with me, let's come down onto our bellies and then lay your body long. Rest your head on the back of your hands and close your eyes down. Feel where your body's touching the earth and let your breath move fully and softly in and out through your nose. Expanding the rib cage, expanding the back body, and then gently letting go. 2 more soft and full breaths just to land here. Maybe sigh out of your mouth on this last breath. Like your eyes open. Prop up onto your elbows and then take a really big stretch of your toes, pointing them back, lifting the tops of your thighs off the mat, and then drag your elbows back as you thread your heart forward. And then let it go. Release your forehead to the mat. Again, activate the back body, the whole posterior chain. The muscles around your spine, your glutes, your hamstrings, calves. As you lift up, and think about creating a long line of energy from the crown of your head down to your toes and lower back down. Move with your breath. Do 3 or 4 more. You could always tilt to the side, bring your right ear to your right shoulder, maybe bending one knee or the other knee, just exploring any movement that wakes you up in a gentle way, in a connected way. Maybe going the other way with your neck. Knees, taking some flutter kicks, back down, and then 1 more through center. Propping up onto your elbows, lift your thighs, point through your toes, open across your chest, and release down. Good, come up into tabletop, hands and knees, and then stretch your right leg long, coming on the ball of the foot. And then walk your left knee forward a little bit. So instead of pure tabletop, our knee is in front of our hip on the left side. And take a couple rocks into the right foot, shimmying forward and backward, toggling back and forth. And then maybe slide your left knee a little bit more forward and see how this is a good stretch for the left glute. Pause in the middle and take your hips, swiveling them left and right. So creating kind of a rainbow arc shape with your left hip. Up and over to the left, feeling that nice stretch on your glutes. Make sure you're pushing down through your knee and your toes. And then up and over to the right. Maybe you feel a stretch on the inner thigh. And 1 more in each direction. Come back through center, switch it out. Left toes long. Right knee is under your hip and then scoot it forward. And then just toggle back and forth, stretching the back of your left calf. Notice your spine. Notice your palms and your fingertips grounding into the mat as well as your knuckles. And then if you feel like your balance is decent, you can slide your right knee even further. So we're stretching, but we're also actively engaging our core. If our core was not turned on here, we would totally dip over to the side. So feel those obliques turn on, feel your body connected as a whole, and then stop about halfway and take those rainbow shapes with the right hip up and over to the side. And this might not look any certain way. Let yourself explore without the shapes having to have certain form or certain names. Good, feel the top of your feet or your toes pushing into the mat as well as your right knee. Good, one more on each side. And then slide back to your tabletop. This time, hips are stacked over your knees. And then just find a couple of free movements here. So you could take a cat-cow, you could take some rib cage circles, whatever feels good for you right now. Close your eyes, and let your body lead you. And then move with your breath. As you're ready, come back to a more neutral spine. And we're gonna lay down again, this time onto our right side. So prop up onto your right elbow, and then right knee is going to be bent. Doesn't have to be at any certain angle or degree, just whatever feels like you can kind of support yourself, and whatever feels like you can push down into the outer side of your right leg to kind of activate the hips on the right side. So we're gonna find some diagonal cross-body movements. As you inhale, stretch your left hand forward in front of you, and your left heel, sorry, this is both our left side. Left hand forward, left heel back. So feel that diagonal pull of tension across your fascia. Good, exhale, come back through center. Left elbow towards left knee, and then switch it out. So this time our left heel kicks down to the right side of our mat, and our left hand reaches up and back to the left. So it's kind of weird with verbal cues, but you can watch me, and we're just going back and forth in this diagonal X pattern with our left limbs, while our right side is pushing down into the mat with the elbow to activate the muscles around your scapula, your shoulder blade, as well as around the hips. Okay, so make it your own. Exhale to come to the center. Inhale to stretch long in opposite directions. Good. Maybe close your eyes. See if you can feel, each body is different, but feel any kind of pull of tension in your myofascial tissue, and then elongate there. Like you're taking a big morning stretch. This is called pandiculation. It's like an active type of stretching that animals do when they wake up. And you're actively elongating through the eccentric phase of the myofascial tissue, so that's the lengthening portion. Good, one more, finish up. Good, and then roll onto your left elbow, and we'll do the same thing. So find your stance where you can push down through the forearm, push down through the left outer side of your hip to feel some core activation, some stabilization. And then the right arm and leg are gonna do the moving. So we stretch it long, diagonally in opposite directions as we inhale. Exhale, come back to center, connect, right elbow towards right knee. And then stretch long in the opposite direction, opening up your heart to the sky, reaching back with your right hand, and then back through center. Doesn't have to look a certain way. Move fluidly, exploratory, in an explorative way. And feel your body moving as a whole. So we connect, part of our body is really stable, which lets the rest of our body move with a sense of fluidity and grace. Stretching long as you inhale, reaching through fingertips, through heel, press out, maybe feel that length on the front of your hip. And then keep that connection to the center of your core as you draw in, and then stretch the other way. Last one, finish up, make it even. And then we come back to center, lift up into your tabletop. A couple more rounds of your cat-cow or your spirals, side bends. Notice your breath, let it move freely in your body. And then lift your toes. We're gonna balance on our kneecaps, and then point your toes, and then we're gonna take some hip rotations. So our ankles are gonna cross behind us. This is moving into some external rotation of both hips. See if you can find that end range and really kind of hold there, and then uncross. This time our toes swivel out to the side, finding internal rotation of your hips, and hold at your end range. This is active mobility into hip rotation, which is so important for the rest of our body to function. If our hips are moving well, then our back does not have to take extra load. Good, now cross your ankles again, other foot on top. Bring your feet across the body so that you're in hip external rotation again. Hold at your end range. It might feel a little crampy or pinchy. That is normal. And then open them up again. Feet are out and hips are in internal rotation here. Look, you might have a imbalance on one side versus the other. It's all just information. I know I have less hip internal rotation on my left leg, so it's something I'm working on. Good. Let's do a couple more in each direction. Just swiveling on your knees, letting your ankles slide in and out, and feeling that rotation through the hips as your pelvis stays nice and stable. Your hands are pushing down. You're breathing into the back of your rib cage, the sides of your ribs, into the belly. And when you're about even, you can finish up. Good, take a little pelvic tuck, tilting and tucking your pelvis a little bit, maybe some circles with your pelvis. Perfect. And then come to sit on your heels. You could always use a prop, a pillow or a bolster underneath your thighs. And we'll find some fluid spinal movement. So as you inhale, open your belly to the front, lift your heart up to the sky, and then cactus your elbows back. Finding an arch through your spine, finding a big buoyant breath. And then as you exhale, round and tuck and curl forward. Your hands can land on the front of your knees. Close your eyes and then just let this movement come with your breath. Inhales to open up into a cow shape with your spine. Cactusing your elbows back, or maybe your arms are straight, whatever feels good. And then exhale into your cat shape, round, curl, compress in. And as you close your eyes, see if you can feel each segment of your spine articulating. Maybe drop your head back if that feels okay. Let's go 2 or 3 more. You can always get your head and neck involved, curling it to one side and the other. Letting your rib cage move and slide. Last one, finish up, let it feel good. Perfect. And then rise your spine back up. Make some fists, plant them on the mat. Come back to your tabletop, all fours position, and then tuck your toes. As you inhale, breathe into the back of your ribs. As you exhale, let your front of your ribs come down a little bit and hold a little bit of that lower belly stabilization here. So we're not letting our ribs flare. We're not letting our belly totally drop forward. We're creating a little bit of pressure management here. So the lower abs gather in on your exhale, and then hover your knees off the mat. And then draw your hips up and back into down dog. So we're going to shift forward between hovering bear, kneecaps hover off the mat, shins are parallel, and then push your fists to drive your hips up and back to down dog. Knees can be plenty bent here. And then cycle back and forth. Feeling a little more active engagement here. A little bit of animal flow inspired movement. Again, always you have the option to close your eyes and feel how your body moves together, how one action drives the next, how all of your muscles and bones and tissue are connected, how you are strong and fluid. And let's finish up with one more. Hovering bear, broaden across your collarbones, and down dog. Feel that link through the calf and your hamstrings. And then in your down dog, unflip your palms so you can find a normal downward facing dog. Any final free movements here. You could bend one knee, pedaling at your feet. You can take a little side stretch, ducking your head over one or underneath one bicep and then the other. Good. And finish up, you can lower your knees down. Let's take a seat. Take a little shimmy, any comfortable movements, and then close your eyes down. We'll take 3 final breaths together. Just noticing how it flows, noticing how your mind and your body feel after just a few minutes of mindful movement. Slow and steady in and out through your nose. Good. You can start to slide your hands along your legs or pin your arms. Blink your eyes open, take in the space around you. Feel free to finish this practice with any final movements, breath work, meditation, your workout, the rest of your day, whatever you have ahead. But I hope you feel more connected to yourself, more strong and fluid in your body. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.